Welcome to Sports Trebuchet, issue 8. We have, I think, probably the best show we've ever planned before. So if you want, take our word for it. Hang up.
Hang up. Turn off your phone.
Just send us a letter. So we're gonna hit a couple different points. We're gonna talk NFL playoffs. We're also gonna talk a little bit wrestling, our favorite runs or pushes. And if you don't know what that means, then you'll get a hang of it here in a second. And then what we did was we're doing New Year's resolutions for every non-playoff NFL team. We randomly drew teams. We'll go over that when we get to it. It's probably what's going to end the show, depending on what comes in between now and then.
Be the main event.
Yeah, be the main event. The main event.
On the evening.
So, let's get started with what everyone's here for, the sports podcast.
Wrestling.
By wrestling. So,
I'm going to introduce who's here first, mate.
You know what? Yeah, I forgot to introduce. I knew something was missing. I got the most important part out.
See what happens when you go big time?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Seriously.
XM Radio is going to be picking us up soon.
I'm Marty.
I'm Kyle.
Josh.
Anthony.
And Anthony Nast is also in the building. So we wanted to go over some of our favorite pushes in wrestling. I think it's... the best part is there's no wrong answer, right? Because everyone's got their own reasons. But we'll see. We'll see what Kyle's picks are.
Okay.
He's got like 8. Even though we said top 3.
I've got 6. I've got 3.
We tried to make them quick, and he comes out with 6.
Kyle said,
Josh has got he's written a book on it.
Yeah.
Kyle said his favorite push was when George Animal Steel pushed Elizabeth off the stage.
And then Ada turned. Did you just Google wrestling push?
No, I did that one.
So
I used to watch wrestling back in the day.
George Animal Steel. Well, no one else is going to have that, I'm sure. So let's have Josh lead us off.
Okay.
If you're ready.
Any honorable mentions?
I do, but I'm not going to bother with them.
Okay.
Honestly. But, yes. I do have honorable mentions. I have... Number 3. We'll start with number 3, right? Brock Lesnar's run between... And I can't remember which came first and which came second. Let me double check. I think it was then. Yes. From breaking the streak to ending Cena's career as the man.
Gotcha. So his whole path of destruction.
His run where he legit destroyed the streak, where he sent Cena to Suplex City, all of that run from there to there when he was still...
Okay. What was that, 2 years?
I think it was about 18 months. But
so 2 matches.
Yeah, pretty much.
Those are the 2 matches.
Those are the 2 matches.
But every time he got into the ring, whether it was an actual match or whether it was just to be there was a big fight feel for that amount of time. They've rode the coattails so long it's dead and has been dead for a long time. But for that initial time, that was... I've really focused on more modern times as an adult when I've been shocked by what I've seen. And when he sent Cena to Suplex City was the biggest one for me outside of the other 2 I have.
That's probably what makes it so shocking, huh? Because everyone knew that Taker was going to win some way because that's his bit, is the streak. Yep. And then Cena was still doing his old shtick of maybe getting his ass beat, but still coming back and overcoming the odds and
winning it all the time.
And for him not to do it, or for him to. It's like the Goldberg-Lesnar fight not too long ago, where it's just it's everything opposite of what everybody expected to be.
Yeah.
Right.
And to just that many suplexes to Cena with no comeback. Was
that when he took the steel steps too and did them on the steel steps? Did the F5 on it?
Because I think it was no DQ, so I think it was just a fair and square one.
Okay.
I think he may have faced him after that and done him through the steel steps and all that sort of stuff.
So he got him twice, right?
Yeah, he did. It was kind of maybe it was this is going to be the ultimate overcoming the odds return story, and Cena just got bashed about every time.
Because that was right before I got back in, and
I
wasn't surprised, I guess, because mostly I didn't know what Cena's shtick had been at that point.
Right.
Other than just here and there.
Yeah, that's by far my least special of the 3. But that was one of the 3 times since I was 20 where I sat up and went, "Holy shit, something's different."
Kyle?
All right. First one I'm going to go with is The Rock from his run from Mania 15 to Mania 18. So that was when he was a face at that point. It's when he turned after being in the corporation. And man, I was a Rock guy.
Is that 98 or 99?
98.
That's when
Oh no, it was 99.
That's
It was
when I used to
90.
watch. It was wrestle with The Rock.
The Rock. Oh god, I was such a Rock guy. It was 99 to when he fought Hogan at WrestleMania. I mean,
good.
the fact that he just controlled the crowd. He still does it, but I mean that's when he was at his height of controlling the crowd. And I popped every week whenever he was out there.
Fair.
That was excellent. That's not when I stopped watching intentionally, but that's just like when I faded out.
Sure.
Was him leaving the corporation and before the Hogan. That's not true. I was there for the NWA, I think.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. Him and Hogan being in the ring at all seemed crazy because I would have guessed I would have rather seen Stone Cold versus Hogan, and it didn't. I didn't feel like I was shorted by Rock and Hogan.
No. And also, I mean, that at that time, even with The Rock as a face and Austin as a face, he had two supernovas.
Yeah.
And when they both got in the ring together, especially around that Mania in 2001,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just fire.
Was it the Hollywood?
Every single one.
Was it the Hollywood?
No, that was the second one. That was Houston, I think.
That sounds.
Mania 17.
I don't know where they
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had him anywhere, honestly. My least.
Existing.
My least. I guess I wasn't gonna rank them, but I kind of have them in the ranking. Incidentally, mine was the Seth Rollins heel run.
That would have
that's
been one of
fun.
my honorables.
Yeah, Seth Rollins.
It's new.
He's great, but the best part about the run was that I don't think anybody saw it coming, but then also that nobody thought he could like anchor the program, and he did a phenomenal job doing it between like
The Jane
his heel
security.
cackle. Does everybody hear the Seth Rollins heel cackle?
His heel cackle was amazing.
And then the stuff with Corporate Kane and like Kane like finding his statue and the Sting bit, this whole
Yep.
Sting run part of it. Kane having his head cut off and Seth asking what's in the box. Like the whole bit was just perfect. So that's probably one of my favorite runs since I've been watching again.
Sure.
Was his heel run, even though he had such long promos at the beginning. But that's what made it so great. Just 20 minutes of him just cackling.
Shades of Triple H.
And J&J, yeah,
Total
J&J
ass.
Security,
Oh, I love J&J Security.
best part.
They were like the stooges of that period.
Yeah, that was great. Except they could actually like
Go.
hit. Yeah, they could take a shot, and you didn't feel like kind of worried. Like when-
Joey Mercury, I don't know how many
Gerald
shots he wants
Briscoe.
to take anymore.
Well, usually it's like heroin, right? Oh, because he got shot in his trailer park.
No, that was Jamie Noble.
Oh, okay.
But Joey Mercury is the one
Poor
that
Jamie Noble.
basically destroyed his eye socket, and that's why he stopped wrestling.
I didn't know.
Why?
that.
What
I
happened?
didn't know that either.
It was a match. It was on WWE. I forgot what it was, but it was him and Johnny Nitro at the
Right.
time, and he took
Eminem,
a bad.
right?
Yeah, it was Eminem, and he took a bad bump, and it like completely destroyed like his eye socket, his orbital
Shit.
bone, and his
Who
nose
says
area.
wrestling is fake?
Yeah.
Right?
Right, just ask Owen Hart.
Have fun doing that.
Yeah, when your time comes up, you can ask them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's gotta get in a line. It's quite a cue. I guess it depends. Do you think Owen Hart's in heaven or hell?
Next
Oh,
week,
I think he's hanging out with Chris Benoit.
Oh my God! So heaven. Clearly.
And I did not look that one up.
The blue blazer and the.
cut that out.
No. So
Nancy's
we also
in
on a
limbo.
bow. Yeah, there's a bow flex in the corner.
A limbo flex. Oh. Not happy with myself.
Josh, actually, NASA, do you have any just off the cuff here?
No, I mean,
We didn't prepare NASA for this question.
that's all right. I mean, I do like wrestling. You know, growing up in the 80s and 90s, especially Saturday morning wrestling was the best with Mean Gene Oakland and
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
you know,
Died yesterday.
and Rowdy, was it Rowdy's
Rowdy
Piper
Pit.
Pit, Piper Pit, and then I mean, that's the wrestling I grew up with. Ricky the Steamboat, Junkyard Dog, and you
Your
know,
dogs, good shout.
Hulk Hogan, of course, and
Yeah.
you know, and Sergeant Slaughter, and
What did you think when Sergeant Slaughter sympathized with Iraq? Did it bother you?
With the Iron Sheik?
Yeah.
I don't know. I did like the Iron Sheik a little bit because I don't think at the time
you're like in the office like,
and I don't think
known for your pro-terrorism take.
Yeah, but I think at the time Iraq really wasn't a true terrorist state. I think it was more Lebanon, like Beirut.
Yeah.
So I think I was okay with. Now
That was during the Gulf War.
Yeah, I want to know.
No, I think this was before the Gulf War.
No, it wasn't.
You want to know a really short
But I did get
story?
scared when he did come out, to the stage. He did have a briefcase with him. We thought it was a bomb in there, so
Wow.
yeah,
I
was a little worried.
That'd be quite the distraction on the side of the ring to be just setting off a suitcase bomb.
But
Speaking
I don't
of
know.
Iron Sheik, let's talk. Did you see his Mean Gene tweet?
No.
Gene Mean was best man at my wedding. He do, he sing, we do, he sing, he dance, he always was there for me. Always leading the way at the bar with the legend, God bless him.
I don't know why you have to do such a racist accent when you do the sheets.
Yeah.
It's all in caps.
It's just
Playing the great Carly's music.
insane. Yeah, right. Dun, 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 dun. General Hall.
I think my favorite was my favorite wrestler at the time was not because of his name, but Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Oh.
Where is the fucking barber beefcake?
Oh,
It's a
that's
great show.
great.
Which is funny because of your haircut.
Yeah, And
love
Now,
your mullet.
in hindsight.
I love your mullet. It's great.
It is, yeah. You know what? Y'all can't see. It's not a visual medium. He's got the exact same haircut that Brutus. Google it. Brutus the Barber Beefcake had.
He also has some giant shears.
Yeah, for some reason he carries shears around. All right, let's do your second one.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait for this one because it's going to cause so much anger. The Summer of Punk.
I was gonna piss him off.
Yep.
I never saw it.
So,
Why would I tune into Bang Average television?
Oh, there it is.
I remember watching it and I was up because I was still in my student days and I was doing jack shit and I was watching TV at 4 o'clock in the morning because I was watching Raw Live. And, yeah.
Poor England.
And,
That sucks so bad.
451. I think I was watching the Girls Gone Wild
Yeah,
skits.
it was skits or the staticky porn on it Encore.
Babe Station. But yeah, I used to just watch it for the sake of watching it because our body clocks were so fucked up and we'd just sit there and like drink beer and watch it
And
until
zone out?
in the morning, yeah.
You
And
know what you're watching.
I've never become so attentive so quickly as when he went down on his haunches and went into that tirade, his pipe bomb, so to speak.
Yeah.
His Money in the Bank match against Cena.
It's great.
And that whole build-up was just unbelievable. Like, it was the first time I'd watched wrestling since I was like a kid, where I thought, where I got worked. Like, was it real? Was it not
Was he
real?
that pissed off?
Like,
Turns out he was.
Turns out he was. But it was the first time in like 10 years where I went from like, yeah, to like, was that real? Like, did they, like, what?
Well,
like,
tone-wise, it was like the first work shoot that they actually kind of presented on TV as such. Like,
in a long time.
right.
And they pulled it off magnificently. Unfortunately, the whole Punk angle went to shit with Triple H's ego
And Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash and
Kevin Nash was involved?
Yeah, there was something about a cell phone and some texts and.
they basically
It's
never
really
wanted.
bad.
They basically never. Punk was never picked out to be one of the boys who was going to make it, and Triple H and those lots still had a big say in it, even in 2011.
Because he couldn't draw money.
He was. That was the problem. That's where they went downhill, and that's where they made the.
Is that the summer that they had the weird John Cena was away for a while and they had a tournament for the championship?
No, that was CM Punk had won the championship and had taken it and said he was going to defend it at Ring of Honor.
That's not Summer of Punk.
No, that's Summer of Punk.
Okay.
No, the Summer of Punk was when he was defending it against Cena. He beat Cena twice in the summer to take the title off of him.
Okay.
And then he went on to face Alberto Del Rio
And Cena.
and
But
a
originally,
couple of other people.
right when it happened, though, was when he won the title from him in Money in the Bank. Remember, he was supposed to be gone. He said he's going to go take the Ring of Honor, and they introduced another championship.
Yeah, yes.
And Rey
Yeah, and that's
it was
when
Rey
Mysterio won, right? And then he came back.
Mysterio won, and then Cena challenged him that same night and got the belt back, and so
and
then
then
there was a
beat
fake
Rey
belt.
Mysterio, and then he had the fake belt, and then Punk came back and beat him again, and it was just it was all fun and games. But the problem was like Punk was drawing money. He was drawing a lot of money. He was drawing a lot of attention, national media international media attention.
He was on Jimmy Kimmel. He was on
They dropped the ball so hard because he wasn't what they picked that it's not on my list. It was going to be, but I think that they like course corrected and became self-aware for Daniel Bryan so hard because of how bad they fucked up with Punk. Because trash talk him all you want, he was legit the next big thing that they dropped the ball on super hard. And Daniel Bryan, they managed to rectify it somewhat. And I really worry that they're going to do the same thing as they did to Punk as to Lynch. Because she ain't the one that they want. They still want it to be Charlotte. They still want it to be Charlotte Ronda all the way through, and I worry that Lynch is going to get punked.
Well, I guess the hope too might be that it's that you can actually have both, right? Like they have the time,
Yeah,
but
they can allow people to organically get over and follow them. But look at the ones that have. Look how over Braun Strowman was 6 months ago, and the way they've killed his momentum to suit what they wanted.
Which
Finn,
yeah.
Punk.
Well, Finn's arm did him in.
Right, but when he came back, people popped like crazy. Ambrose, look how fucked up they've done that. Like, they've just ruined all these comebacks that they could have rode to the moon, some of them.
Well, it's changed. Did you not hear the McMahons a couple weeks ago?
Yeah,
It's changing.
So to kind of piggyback off that Daniel Bryan yes movement was on mine. Because that was excellent.
I'm glad mine wasn't on there now then, because that would have been a waste of a spot.
Yeah.
That was just a fun run. I mean,
Occupy Raw
yeah.
was so good.
And all those fans out there in the ring chanting yes. The fact that he went into WrestleMania, beat Triple H, and then went on to beat Batista and Orton. It was one of those moments that, like, I mean, you still see.
Was it the opposite?
No, he beat Triple H to open
Orton,
up.
okay.
Beat Triple H to qualify.
Qualified to face Orton
Face
and
down
Batista.
So he had to take down. What's it?
Evolution.
Yeah, Evolution.
It really was. Like, it really was.
He had to outdrink Ric Flair.
They learned from every mistake they made with Punk and made it all right with Bryan.
And
He was so good.
And if you see that that scene once he wins, and the whole crowd just loses
wow.
their shit, it's great.
Well, and
Too bad.
him with the Wyatt family bit too, right? Didn't that precede it?
That was part of
That was
part of that
almost
run.
the very start of his yes movement. Yeah.
My next two, I'm gonna go ahead and knock out my next two because I think y'all probably have better third ones. One was
I don't know.
the Rock's Nation of Domination run
That was-
into the corporate champion run. Because it's probably mostly in hindsight because I'm pretty sure I hated the dude when I was a kid.
Oh, I hated
He was so easy to hate.
I was a Triple H fan at that point because I loved DX.
Of all the things, man,
I loved DX with when it was X-Pac and Road Dogg and Billy Gunn and
I think I
Their
popped for
faces.
Legion of Doom
China.
all the time.
Triple
Like,
H. China Triple H.
Yeah, they I don't know. I know that they never. I didn't at the time. I did not like DX.
The only pay-per-view I ever bought back then was the '98 SummerSlam for Triple H versus The Rock for the Intercontinental title. Because I was like, oh yeah, Triple H. They're the faces at that point.
Well, and I guess at the time when I consider it,
Invasion, wasn't it?
I was a WCW guy. Period.
Okay.
So like, anytime I saw DX, it felt like meh. Like, and the Nation of Domination was so different that I really liked their whole bit. And I remember really thinking Ahmed Johnson was great because he looked like $1 million.
Yeah.
But his whole run with Nation of Domination, and in hindsight, hearing the jokes and everything else about it, I don't know what that noise was. Was that outside?
Yeah, it seemed like
Weird.
That's really alien invasion.
SWAT dispersing.
The SWAT just swings in like that. It's because he is a Brutus for a Beefcake fan.
They come in for the mullet.
The corporate champion bit was great too, so easy to hate. And then my next one was my favorite wrestler of all time is probably Diamond Dallas Page.
It's me.
It's
me.
It's DDP.
DDP.
And it was probably DDP versus NWO. If you consider that kind of its own storyline,
That was fun.
It was great.
And it was also back when he had his best music, which was the one where it said "Self High Five" at the starting of it, and it was a blatant rip-off
basically Nirvana.
Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, it was just dun 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 dun. Still 5-5. DDP was great, and I guess at the time I always liked him, and I hated NWO. And so to see DDP just regularly kind of just make them look like stooges, which was really cool of the NWO to do, considering they were running the entire
how
thing.
long they
basically
run
were
been.
the-
Yeah, and it was still like, and it was the thing that I think it was right before they did the NWO split too. So it's probably the best days of the NWO, and then they started just
chopping them apart.
Yeah, chopping them up. And
Yeah, DDP got presented an NWO shirt.
when he did the turn, and did the handshake with Scott Hall, he turns back and he just fucking diamond cuts the shit out of
And
him.
then he runs through the crowd and he's putting up the diamond cutter sign.
Yeah, he always had bruised ribs, no matter what.
Yeah, he
It was
always
really,
had
I don't know.
ribs.
Thank God he found yoga because it just it was so painful to watch him because he always had his fucking ribs.
Also had a
taped.
wonderful mullet as well.
DDP.
DDP, it's me.
I was a WWE guy, but he was my fave for WCW. If
He
I
was-
watched WCW, DDP was my favorite.
And it was such a bummer
Ray
that
was my favorite. I was a Ray guy.
I liked.
You can associate with Ray though, can't you?
Yeah.
Billy Kidman. Yeah.
Who was like that Goldberg guy? Was he
Goldberg almost
was,
made my list. Goldberg's run.
was he even good? He was like a B-lister, right?
He wasn't the best wrestler, but he
It was
had
his
a
presence.
and he went on an undefeated streak, which was insane.
The first year and a half of his career couldn't have
And
been
who
great.
was the guy? Steve Austin.
Steve Austin.
Yeah.
You guys liked? Was he good?
Yes,
I mean,
he
I know
was.
we always drank beer and curse everybody out.
That's-
It was,
that
but
was-
that's the-
because
that's
he was
the
like a
thing.
real deal.
He happened to
redneck.
be like a really good wrestler, but like at the time, it didn't
Great
matter
worker,
because
yeah.
his whole bit was
Promos.
just that promos,
Yeah, because he
foiling the McMahons.
he made his name being a technician.
Yeah.
Like that's like he was actually before he became Steve Austin, shaved his head, became a badass. He was known throughout like the wrestling world as being an incredibly technical and gifted wrestler. And then he
great
went
hand.
from that to that.
Former
like,
defensive lineman for the University of North Texas, by the way.
True statement.
Yeah, my dad's buddy roomed with him, and he tried to get my dad's buddy to join wrestling, and he wouldn't do it. And he's like, "That shit's gay." Yeah, he said Paul was this guy's name. Paul's like, "Nah, I mean that shit's gay." And then like fast forward 6 years later, and Stone Cold's like got a steady gig, and then 8 years later from the original point, he's fucking
He's smashing
He's-
beer
he's-
cans.
yeah.
He's the greatest thing.
He's on
ever.
TV Guide.
He retired with a couple million.
At least.
At least.
He's got his own TV show. He's got his own podcast.
He
now,
still
like-
makes a couple.
He brews his own
million.
beer now. Yeah, he's doing everything.
Sip a beer for the working man.
My last one. Don't know if anybody else had this, but Hall of Pain.
Fuck, that's my number one.
No, it's not. I'm glad I picked my two. I fucking knew it, dude. Host
is.
intuition.
Who?
Hall of Pain.
Hall of
Okay,
Pain run.
So in the
That
late,
just goes to show how well they pulled off that run
was
for us
so
to
great.
both have that as our number one run.
It makes me feel like how much I miss not watching wrestling through like the entire time that y'all are basically talking. 'cause
So
Yeah, because
Mark
Punk
Henry.
and the Hall of Pain run were like
Very
almost
close.
like one after the other.
very close. So there was a guy in the mid '90s. He came up. His name was Mark Henry. He was an Olympic
You remember him,
powerlifter.
the world's strongest man?
Yeah,
Giant
yeah,
black
yeah.
dude is
Yeah.
fucking beast.
Monster.
He huge dude, but they never did anything with him. He's always like the happy-go-lucky guy. Well, all of a sudden,
Sexual chocolate
in, like-
was almost on my list, by the way.
oh boy, in
Yeah.
2011ish, he they turned him into a bad guy, and he started inducting people into what he called his Hall of Pain. And he was just going through and wrecking people. He won the championship, which made me happy that he finally got the
It
championship.
started with the Big Show, and he put the Big Show into the Hall of
There's the
Pain.
big show right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody thought that like for me and a lot of people that I'd like to see it, like my mates who watched it, everybody thought that it was just like a one-off thing, and then he faced Orton for the title that next month because he beat Big Show, and he beat him clean.
Yeah.
Like like he just dominated him.
Injured Kane.
Yep.
God, who else did he
Injured
beat?
Kozlov.
Yep.
God,
What was that? Injured Kozlov, injured Kane, beat Orton more than
Caleb
once.
Bryan, I'm
Yep.
pretty sure.
Beat Bryan because
Christian.
what he did was he got beat by the Big Show, to have the title go back to him, and then Henry destroyed. He got done on like a count out or something, but they were able to change the title at the time.
Okay.
So then he went back in and just wrecked Big Show. Daniel Bryan cashed in his Money in the Bank, won it, had to face Henry the next month, and Henry killed him. And then he went on to and then I think after that is when he injured Kozlov.
Yeah.
He wrote out
Too bad
Khali.
Kozlov doesn't look like that.
Too bad he didn't look like that run.
He wrote off the Great Khali for a while. He wrote off Sheamus.
Yeah.
He put Sheamus into the Hall of Pain. And Orton was fire at that point too. Like he was super high peak. Like he was not far away from his height in terms of popularity.
It's that been when he came close to breaking up with Evolution, right? The timetable part, or was
No. This is around the time that Edge retired.
Oh, did you say Orton?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was kind of in between Orton's run with Rated R and before he became part of the Legacy stuff that he started running.
No, it
Cody.
was after that.
It was after Legacy?
Yeah, Legacy was like 08.
So it was after that. So he was... Because that's when he went downhill for a little bit. So but at this time, Orton was like the biggest thing on SmackDown.
He's starting to hear voices in his...
Yeah.
And Henry just cleaned him out more than once.
Right.
And I remember sitting there and just like, what?
Yeah, Orton was like the top face on SmackDown.
He was like an AJ Styles. It's like AJ Styles being beaten clean by Rusev now, and Rusev going back to badass Rusev, and then running through the roster and not changing character once, just being a fucking badass. Not bad guy, not good guy, just badass.
Just right.
His music finally fit him.
Yeah.
You know?
It was just...
somebody's gonna get their ass whipped.
The 3-6 Mafia.
It's not him just smiling, walking to the ring. It's him coming out breathing smoke.
And God, that theme tune suited him so much during that run, too.
It was great.
He just was badass all over. My favourite run. It
So
really
much fun.
was.
I'm glad y'all shared the top one. This is a theme
I am
over the
so
course of the
surprised.
podcast, is y'all always split answers, which is...
I thought it might get an honourable mention, but I can't believe it was your number one too. I'm so pleased.
So much fun.
I'm so pleased it wasn't just me that enjoyed that as much.
It's great.
So what we wanted to talk about next, I wanted to go over the NFL playoffs, and if you want, we can talk through it here and pick them, who we think is going to make the Super Bowl, who's going
Make
to win.
predictions.
That's a good idea.
Should I record this to look back on at the end of the playoffs?
I can write it down.
All right, you want to write it down, just whose Super Bowl picks it is?
Yeah.
All right, so God, the tricky part though is if our seeds are different, we're gonna have different matchups. So it's a
That's fine.
different
If you screw up
That's
week
all right.
one, then you screwed.
Yeah. All right. So the most
So Marty, you go first?
Who's going first?
You.
I figure we just all talk about games per,
Sure.
at least for the first round, and then we can split it up.
Okay.
So let's talk the most boring one, and the one that is definitely already decided. The Bears against the Eagles.
Yeah.
Nick Foles,
Nick Foles is clearly
the best quarterback.
Big
in
Dick
the
Nick
league.
is gonna your future Jacksonville Jaguar.
I would love that.
Can you imagine? That'd be so great.
I will say this.
You will see in my preview.
If for some reason the Eagles beat the Bears, the Eagles need to get rid of Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has not won a playoff game, right? Or one, maybe? Did I
he can't
play in the
say
playoffs.
He hasn't even played in the playoffs.
He can't
The
say
guy, they just need to get rid of, trade him high, get that first round pick, and get rid of Wentz. The guy is injury prone, facing 2 years straight. Now, his last year,
I think that they rushed him back. I think that was the biggest issue.
Which is crazy because you just won a Super Bowl with your backup. Like
Yeah.
your
and then your
Watkins,
backup,
Why are you
your
running?
backup came in clutch again at the end of the season to win.
They did.
No,
To
they have to
qualify.
beat. They have to beat.
They're in the bounce.
Now, this is if they beat the Bears, which I don't really think that's going to happen. But if they just beat the Bears, I don't know, man. I think Foles should be the starter.
What if
Wentz
the Eagles win by like 30? Just hang the Bears defense out.
Then you know what, management.
Lose Wentz. You gotta lose Wentz.
You got to lose Wentz.
But are you going to do that with a quarterback Wentz who's what, 24?
Yes, because
Trade
because
him high.
Trade
him high, man.
There's gonna be buyers, and also your
Major
team's
buyers.
already
Like
kind of in a weird
Jacksonville.
spot. You
Wentz?
I would take Wentz in a second.
Yeah, I know. He's a great. Don't get me
you
wrong.
should.
Whoever gets Wentz,
But
if
from
this
the
ever
Eagles,
happens,
from the Eagles' perspective,
It's well
I
off.
understand.
Yeah.
They're doing great. Like
Yeah.
if he goes to the the Reds, they won't do it in division.
No,
Sure,
they won't
they're
do
not
that
that
in
stupid.
division.
but let's say Jacksonville. Jacksonville will be good for 10 years from now.
if they kept
Maybe.
Wentz. I mean, Wentz is going to be better.
would be good.
Would you rather have Wentz than like drafting anybody else right now?
Yeah, he's a proven commodity.
I mean,
yeah.
he knows how to win. He just has to stay healthy.
Yeah.
All right. So
Sorry.
I think Bears. That's my.
I think
pick.
Bears are going to win
I think
that,
Bears as
but I
well.
think that also has the biggest chance of having an upset. Oh no.
I don't know if
Really
any of them are
don't
even an upset, honestly, in the first round because it's so. This year they're so strong. Every single team,
Because I
except
don't-
for the Eagles, have won 10 games or more.
because I don't consider a 5-seed Chargers
That's
winning
fucking
over the
crazy.
Ravens as an upset.
Also, by
because-
the way, I think this is the first time since the merger that no team has been 8-8.
really,
Oh, first team since the 16-game season that no team.
Or how about a 12-4 Chargers has to go on the road in the wild card?
Yeah, it's
How about that
that's
shit?
ridiculous.
So,
I
Josh,
got-
what was your pick?
The Bears?
It's arrogant of me to pick them, but it's also sensible. So yeah, I think that I hate ever thinking of my team as a favorite because historically my team are never
That's the
favorites.
worst, yeah.
Like England, Brighton, Bears, historically they've never been the favorite.
And as soon as they're favorite, they'll lose.
Isn't it awkward to feel that way?
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Actually,
I feel
you
like
weren't
everything's
born
a trap.
when the Bears were the favorite last. What was that, 85?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I don't even think
The
they were
Super Bowl
favorites when
shuffle?
they went to the Super Bowl.
I mean, the last time,
Colts.
like I said before, in a different
had a
episode,
fucking-
like 2012 was when I first started following them. I've never known a winning season with the Bears.
He wasn't even
like-
there for Sexy Rexy.
Yeah.
So-
the Rex game.
But,
Right.
you know, we held the Rams to 6 points at home. Foles hasn't broken his ribs, but he has hurt them. Like, I don't care how big of a dick you're swinging around, it's going to hurt to throw him. And if one of those linemen hit you very quickly, if they
I
go...
think Sudfeld probably tears up the Bears defense, honestly. He's so good. Fucking keep it down out there.
That wouldn't be the
You hear
first
that?
backup quarterback this season to tear us apart.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
But yeah, I'm going for Bears.
All right, so we'll go
So
Bears.
we're all
let's,
Bears?
let's hop over. Nasta did
Bears.
yeah. Nasta did a, which means by default, the Bears are going to be playing the Rams in the next round, no matter who we choose.
Yes.
So we'll go with what Nasta was segueing into: the Chargers and the Ravens. Chargers at the Ravens.
I'm Chargers all day.
I'm gonna go Chargers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Chargers. I think
They're 12-4 for a reason.
Yeah.
I want the Chargers. I think.
And
the-
Gordon will be back healthy.
Gordon will be healthy.
Ooh, I forgot about Melvin Gordon coming back.
He's a huge part of that offense.
They've got players.
And the
who have
defense
done
is
it.
pretty
If you-
stout
if you
too.
buy-
The Chargers just beat the Ravens about 2 weeks ago.
If you buy into the were they at home though?
I don't remember.
If you buy into the travel part, maybe that plays. And they're the Saturday game, right?
Probably Saturday night though.
Yeah, that's good.
I think the Ravens defense is real good.
They're really good.
Yeah, but
That's an excellent match.
I think that's I think that's
Chargers is.
Yeah, I've
That's
got the
something.
Chargers too. They've done it before. Like they've got big people on there. They've got players on their team in like main areas of the field
Yeah.
that have done it before, and
I'm
that's
gonna-
something that you can't in any sport. That experience is like a big thing.
I'll do the fuck. I think the Ravens are going to win. I'll pick the
Okay,
Ravens.
so you writing all this down?
Go
That's
ahead.
good. That's good.
Oh, okay. Am I the only one to pick the Ravens?
Well, that's good. I mean, hey, listen.
Someone's got to be right on this podcast.
I just like the only reason why I'm liking the Chargers
Fuck, I hope everyone's right because all four of us got Bears.
is because I think Lamar Jackson. I even said that at college. I think he would be a pretty decent quarterback. The playoffs, like in any sport, is a different animal. And you're going against Phillip Rivers too. You know. I mean,
Yeah, he's done it before. He's
Not
done
the
it
playoffs.
before. He's
That's my one thing. Is that I think the Chargers are gonna win.
Yeah.
But
I think they'll be alright.
I think so. All
I
right.
think so.
We're also, I think, going to have.
What's the weather looking like?
That's
there?
what I'm about to look. I'm looking at the weather.
Meteorologist Webb.
Meteorologist, Martiologist. Cool. I haven't had my last name on the podcast yet, so good looking out there, Nasta. It's not going to rain. It's going to be nice and ooh, it might rain. It's Saturday night, then we have nothing to worry about,
Right.
and it's not going to be
Everyone that
particularly
listens
cold.
to this podcast knows your last name. So
Ooh, I don't know. There's some German dude that downloaded it.
Really?
Yeah, there's been a couple of German downloads.
Herman, the one-eyed German.
that's gonna keep him.
yeah.
All right, so I'll go Ravens. So let's go Seahawks Cowboys. Seahawks at Cowboys. Which let me tell you, for home field advantage, the Cowboys don't have it because no one cares now in
Yeah.
their stadium.
Well, I've seen enough of the Seahawks this year I'm backing the Cowboys to win it.
Really?
Yeah, when we played the Seahawks, I've never seen a more average-looking team in my life, and quite how they've got
You
where
watch the
they
Cowboys.
are. Yeah, I have.
Because
but
they
I
have the
think
Cardinals. They have the Cardinals and the Niners in their conference.
I just think they've got slightly more about them. The Cowboys, slightly more. I think
It's
either of
going
them
to
are
be
going to
close
be
because
killed.
the defense on the Cowboys is serious.
I think the Cowboys probably win big, as much as I hate to say it.
Really?
I think the
I think
Cowboys.
they end up winning big.
I will say this: I'm not a big fan of either or, but I'm gonna have to go with the Cowboys, man.
I'll
I
go
think that their
Cowboys.
running back is right now in the wild card. I think they might have the best running back.
And I think that
Really?
Well, I'm sorry,
Melvin
Melvin Gordon. So they got the number 2. I say running back.
I mean, even
that's
then,
tough.
Melvin Gordon versus Zeke is probably a push in talent. Like they're both. They're both.
They're also two very different running
Now,
Yeah.
I will say this: Russell Wilson, he can play big games. I mean,
And I think there's a
he would have had
stat that,
2 rings if it wasn't for that stupid Pete Carroll call.
Oh, man.
I think,
Yeah, that
I think
one
that
play.
Pete Carroll though has never lost an opening round game in the playoffs. So if they're in the wild card round, they've won, and then I don't know what happens after that.
Yeah.
Or if
Okay.
if they've got the first round bye, they've won that game in the divisional round.
Yeah.
So who you got?
I'm going Cowboys. I think it's gonna.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna
We're
buck
going
that trend.
Cowboys?
I think it's gonna
Yeah,
buck that
Cowboys.
trend.
Okay.
I think that they need to win to save Garrett's job.
Yeah.
Well, I think that just to make people
Overall,
feel
but that defense of the Cowboys is fucking
it's
ferocious.
serious.
too, man.
It's serious.
Garrett doesn't get fired, even if they get
I
blocked.
like that. I like that. That's what's that guy's name? That Dutch guy, Von.
Oh,
Was he German, Dutch, or whatever?
Van Der Esch?
Yeah, dude, he's good.
Boise.
Yeah,
Idahoan.
he
Yeah.
played 8-man football in high school.
dude, he's good,
Yeah.
man. I like him.
And then let's go Colts Texans.
I'm gonna say Texans.
Yeah, man, I like Texans.
I think their defense is hitting on all cylinders right now.
J.J. Watt, Clowney, the quarterback,
Sean Watson.
Deshaun Watson is a winner.
Watson and DeAndre Hopkins. are so
Hopkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I think how's Lamar Miller? Is
He was healthy last week
Okay.
against the Jags.
Okay.
great. They got Alfred Blue back, don't they?
They do.
They do.
And
Uh,
the Colts just made it by the skin of the teeth. If Marcus Mariota was playing last week, the Colts would not have been playing today.
That's why I think
I
the
think-
Colts might win.
Okay.
Because I think that Luck is gonna just deal, man. I think he's gonna. God, I don't know. It's honestly, if there's a over under, I'm betting the over on that game versus any of these other games.
Really?
Yeah,
I can see a shootout.
Because I could see both of them just getting. You get prime Luck. That sounds weird. Prime Andrew Luck.
I will.
Prime Deshaun Watson.
I will say, out of those 4 games, I think the Colts and Texans will be the shootout of them. I don't think the Bears and Eagles will be a shootout.
No.
No,
Cal-
just by
Man.
the weather, I think is going to probably keep that from happening.
I think the Bears. I think it's very difficult to get into a shootout in general with the Bears. Frankly, I think the Patriots are the only team that managed it all year. Well, they are. They're the only team that managed it all year.
All right, cool. I think we're
All right.
pretty much in agreement.
Well, I'm picking Colts too.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I was
they-
wearing his Colts jersey. Practically.
They
he is wearing his
remind me of a team in the World Cup that get hot right at the end of the group stage.
Croatia?
No, Croatia were hot all the way through. They were just, but there's every now and again there will be a team in the World Cup that, like Ghana when it was in South Africa. Ghana played bang average for 2 games, won the last group game to get in real hot, and then they just flew through to the semi-final.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's how the Colts feel to me. They feel like they've got hot just at the right time, and I think they're going to blow it out. I really do. I think they're going
Was it the Packers that made the Super Bowl when they were a wild card? They're like the last team in, not a few years ago.
The Steelers have done it. The Packers have done
There's
it.
the
Giants done it
history of
twice, I
happening.
The
think.
Giants have done it. Yeah.
It's just my gut. I'm thinking that they're just gonna. I think they're just gonna.
So
I think they're gonna roll over them. So I don't think it's gonna be close.
Really?
Yeah, I think the Colts end up like.
So we're split on that. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that place down in Houston is going to be rocking.
Yeah.
And
So the next matchup would be we all voted the same here. So it'd be
We've got the same for a few. So
we go Bears Rams
okay.
sure, that's fine. I don't care which way we go.
in LA.
That one or the Saints are both the exact same.
I think we go. I think I go Rams here, only
I think I do
because
too. LA.
only because I'd like to think that McVay had to eat the biggest piece of humble pie after that game, because not only did he get out coached, but he fell into the same mistakes he had made like for 3 weeks in a row at that point.
I think also Fresh Gurley makes a a hell of a lot of difference.
That is honestly, I didn't even consider that in my
He hasn't
selection.
played the last couple weeks because he's been hurt.
Yeah,
but
well, and
they're not gonna
in
use him
general,
if they
you're
need
gonna
to.
well, in general, you're gonna have 2 weeks to prepare, right?
Yeah.
For like either team, and if you just plan on playing the Bears defense no matter what, you're gonna be the Eagles if they win or whoever else. Well, the Cowboys is the same thing. I think you could game plan the same way for every team that's in the NFC wildcard round, and still
Yeah.
expect to win.
Yeah.
I will say this: if the weather is shitty out in LA, rain. I'm just talking about rain.
Fires.
Yeah.
Earthquakes. But if it's bad weather, Bears defense is going to win that game. But if it's a clear night, Rams. I think I'm going to give it to the Rams. So overall, I can't predict the weather because if I can, I will not be here right now. I'll be rich and working for.
Where would you make money predicting the weather?
Because I'll be always right.
Twitter, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtag Gasnasta.
Mm-hmm.
Like
No.
the guy that's over in like Iceland or Greenland. That like, do y'all know about that dude?
No, the guy in Nova Scotia?
Yeah, the guy in Nova Scotia.
You're close.
I don't know where Nova Scotia's in
Nova
Canada,
Scotia's
right?
in Canada.
Well, north of the U.S., I guess is what I was going for.
But I'm going to
Robbie
go.
McDonald's.
Robin McDonald. Let's talk.
I'm
about
going with
the
the Rams.
podcast.
Rams.
Okay,
Put me down as
Order
Rams.
your pizzas, order your Chinese food.
Order your Chinese food. Order your pizzas.
I'm going with Rams.
I'm going with the Rams as well. I think that the 2 reasons I'm going to go with the Rams. One, because they have home field advantage, and I think it's going to be enough for them to sneak a win. The other part of me, after seeing Nagy coach all year, knows and has watched him make adjustments really, really effectively in the NFC North divisional games. Like, he's really learned from every single one, whether it's the Vikings, who are decent, to the Packers, who are bang average, to the Lions, who are a joke. Like, he's adjusted, and they've, like...
Why? It's just hang 31 on the Packers.
Yeah, well, the Packers are...
I
the
hate
Packers
the
quitting
end, but
playing.
I hate I hate Aaron Rodgers and I hate the friggin'.
I just think
Bang
that...
averages for the Packers is just a little too much.
I just don't know. If he adapts the way he has done previously, and it would take some adapting considering the Rams are a different animal, like, we could do it. But the reason I'm going to go for the Rams is because if we do win that, I think we win it all. And I'm not going to do that to myself.
Well, I think he's also got the hardest thing to do is plan for a team that
If the Bears beat the Rams, it's Super
I think if we beat the Rams in LA, we win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go that route because I cannot bear the idea of my predictions running the
Fair.
Bears all the way through.
You can't bear the
I
idea.
can't bear it.
So yeah, can't bear it.
That's
Just implausible to think about.
It's honest. You say?
Impossible.
Oh, I thought he said clausable, which is also what I was trying to figure out with the bear claw. I think the
Either
hardest
or.
thing to do is make adjustments for a team that you've beaten soundly. Right? It's easier to be the team that got destroyed because then you're
We beat the
fresh.
Vikings and the Lions soundly, and then we went to their place and we beat them worse.
I don't think they're coached as well as.
That's what I mean. The Rams are a different animal, and I think that he would have to do a hell of a
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's going to
That's
take
two
some work.
defensive coaches that.
I agree with you. That's why I'm going for the LA. But I'm saying that it's not impossible that he could do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if we win that, we'll beat whoever we play.
Yeah.
After that, I think that the momentum would just be such a shift.
Kyle, what was your pick?
Rams.
Okay, so we got Rams all around.
That's nice because it rolls all the way through.
It really does.
So let's go for Saints versus
Cowboys?
Saints Cowboys.
Lightning does not strike twice. Saints win down in New Orleans.
Yeah. No discussion for me.
Cowboys.
Ooh.
If the Cowboys are there, I think they beat the Saints. There's something weird about Dallas playing in New Orleans, and it's just like Sean Payton destroyed. It's weird, man. It's the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl. Honestly, it's beating New Orleans, and it has been like that for like 10 years. Give me the Cowboys.
This happened a couple years back, maybe more than a couple years back. Last game of the regular season, Tony Dungy decided to sit Peyton Manning and all their starters, and of course they had the bye, and they lost because everybody was cold. Saints did the same thing against the Panthers. They sat everybody on the offense. Well, Michael Thomas played a little bit to break Joe Horn's record. I'm not a big I hate them both because I'm a Panther fan. But if the Cowboys win, Cowboys are going to beat the Saints. So,
So 2 Cowboys, 2 Saints. So we have.
So we've got Rams Saints and then Rams Cowboys.
Okay, so y'all would be Rams at Saints. So who have y'all got?
Oh, you want to go that route?
Yeah, let's just finish up the.
Let's just go.
NFC.
Yeah. Fuck.
I think the Saints
I'm going Saints.
pick them apart quite
Okay.
comfortably.
So y'all's NFC Championship pick is NFC champion is the Saints.
Yeah.
I go Rams.
I'm going Rams as well.
Okay.
All right, and then this is where it gets funky because
Yeah,
our
you got
picks are a little
everybody's-
different.
Alright.
So,
I've got Chiefs, Chargers, Texans, Patriots.
all right. So I
Yeah,
have.
Kyle, you got Marty. You had the Ravens and the Colts.
Yeah,
I
but
got-
you and me would both have Chiefs, Colts, Josh,
Yeah.
and then.
And I got Chief Chargers, Texans, Patriots as well.
All right, let's go. Maybe this is the hardest one because we both split the vote a little bit. So let's do Chargers, Chiefs. Right? Is y'all 2?
Mm-hmm.
So who do y'all got in Chargers versus the Chiefs? Chargers at Chiefs.
They're playing in Arrowwood. I'm going with Mahomes. I'm going with the Chiefs, man.
Chargers have their number. Chargers take the win. And
Nice.
break every heart.
I mean, I'll tell you this. I hate to admit it.
That's not that.
Whoever wins, I won't mind. You know,
It's a win, right?
Yeah,
It's a win to
gonna be
me.
fun.
So I'll take. I'm still gonna go. Put me down for the Chiefs. Anyway.
Okay, which means that Josh and I will have Chiefs Colts, no matter what, and I go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, yeah. The Colts got hot, but they're not going to be that hot. The Chiefs will win it.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope so. God bless Patrick Mahomes.
I love him.
He's
Yeah.
Chargers have his
he's
number.
my
Yeah.
mixed race
Okay.
son. And then
You were very young when you had him.
we very young.
And we got the Pats against the
I've got-
Ravens
I've
and
got-
the Texans.
Yep.
Texans, right?
Yeah, we've got Texans, Pats. You guys got.
No, you have the Chargers too, right? Winning.
Yeah.
So y'all all 3 have Patriots, Texans. I've got Ravens, Patriots.
So who did I have? The Chargers. Chargers.
Did you have the Colts winning?
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Yeah, I had the Colts winning. I had the Colts winning and the Chargers winning.
So you have,
So you got Chargers,
Patriots.
Patriots.
I got Ravens, Patriots, and y'all have Texans,
Texans,
Patriots. God, okay. Josh, who you got going? Chargers, Patriots.
I think the Chargers beat the Pats.
I'd take that. I'd take that too.
I
if it was
love
my
it.
situation. All right, so y'all 2 want to know? I'll do my first. I think. I think Patriots beat the Ravens.
I think the Texans will beat the Patriots.
Oh God!
But
what
do
a
you-
world
but
we
do
live
you-
in if Deshaun
but do you-
Watson up in
But do you bet? Even listen, Brady's the fucking man. Brady's good.
Also, you're up in
You're up in
Up
Foxborough.
in Foxborough.
Yeah, no, I know.
Nobody goes into Foxborough and wins.
Especially
We
in the-
discussed it last episode. They're gonna get the calls. The Pats will.
I'm
Yeah.
going Texans still.
Kyle.
I've got the Patriots beating the Texans.
Okay, I mean, hey, it's
God, what a bummer. How many of us have the Pats in the AFC?
So your championship games are the Chiefs versus the Patriots, Marty. Who have you got winning that? Every single one of us has a different one, which is
Chiefs,
why
baby.
In Kansas
Chiefs.
City.
hell's yeah, I'm going Chiefs,
over
baby.
Patriots. Man,
And they play on.
what a
And if I recall, I think the Chiefs' Arrowwood is grass, right?
Or how do you?
Because Patriots aren't. It's not grass. It's like that turf. Yeah. So yeah, no. Regardless, I was going Chiefs anyway, man.
I think Chiefs. God, it's still tough to bet on Andy Reid in the AFC Championship game. Or Andy.
And I
Reid
think
versus
Andy
Bill
Reid is
Belichick.
friggin' due. That poor guy. I think he's due, man.
That poor
Poor guy.
Wallace.
So I have Chiefs
Wallace.
Chargers, and I think the Chargers do it again.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
5 Chargers going to the Super Bowl.
I've got
Yeah.
what Chargers, Patriots.
Yep.
No one wins in Foxborough except the Chargers. Chargers go in and beat Patriots.
Oh,
go to the Super Bowl.
shit.
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. LT. The ghost of LaDainian Tomlinson.
So our Super
Fuck the
Bowls.
Patriots.
That's the right take. No matter what. And then who's Nastas?
No, I did
did
the
it?
Chiefs.
You took the Chiefs?
Yeah, Chiefs
Okay,
going to
okay.
Super Bowl.
So your Super Bowl, Marty, is the Rams versus the Chiefs.
The dream matchup, man. And it would be like, watch, like here, I'm gonna bet something.
Didn't they just have their match and it was an absolute
Banger.
Dude, it was an awesome
you know it's gonna be like 9-3.
That's what I was just gonna say. I
stayed up to
they
watch that
score
damn
under
game.
40 points.
Yeah, right?
They play
That should be that.
So, who you got? Rams Chiefs Super Bowl.
Oh man, Wade Phillips versus Patrick Mahomes is the matchup, and
Marty's gonna have a heart attack in the middle of that
Patrick
game.
no, from jerking off so hard because I'm so excited.
Yo, you're gonna come in with the fucking sling on too.
I'm gonna be shooting a rope the whole time. I'm gonna go Chiefs.
Wow.
Chiefs
Win the
are the
Super Bowl.
The
with
middle
Mahomes.
America goes.
Imagine at the beginning of the year if you had said Chiefs.
With
Yeah,
no
it's-
Hunt and Mahomes in his rookie, well, basically his rookie season.
His first full starting
Yeah.
season, yeah.
Carl,
I've got Chargers Saints.
you do. So do I. So we
Philip
can do
Rivers
this.
gets off the schneid, brings it home, rides off into the sunset, and retires.
Yeah, baby, me too.
There you go.
Hashtag me too.
So that's three of us AFC. So who have you
Big
got? You got
Philip
Chiefs,
is getting
Saints?
his ring. And
I have Chiefs.
Chiefs Rams.
Chief Rams as well. I think I like the Chiefs because correct me if I'm wrong. Did they ever win a Super Bowl ever? Even when they were just AFC? Did they win the
Chiefs.
AFC? Did?
Dunno.
Yeah, I think.
I think they did, right? We all know the Rams did with the greatest show on turf.
I don't know if Chiefs have won since the merger. Though.
I don't think.
Right? Yeah, I don't think they won yet. Okay. The only thing is, I think Hunt. The issue with Hunt will backfire. at the Super
1970
Bowl.
they won.
No, you think that?
I think eventually we'll catch up to
playing
him.
Williams instead, and
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with, even though I think it might backfire, I'm going with the fucking Chiefs, baby.
So that's two Chiefs.
Two
and
Chiefs and two
Chargers.
Chargers winning the whole
And the
thing.
NFC watch is going to demolish whoever's the AFC.
the Eagles are gonna win the fucking Super Bowl again.
Yeah,
by
against the
full-
Patriots.
Against the
It's gonna be good.
Patriots, and I'm
Just
gonna,
like the Chiefs.
and I'll throw myself out
Hey,
the window.
Josh, real quick, want to do a quick rundown? Who got who on the picks?
What do you mean?
Like you listed per name or no? Did you do that?
Yeah.
What is Anthony? Yeah, just so we.
All right, Nasta, you've got the Bears winning round one, Chargers, Texans, Cowboys. Next round, you have LA Cowboys going through, and the Chiefs and the Texans going through. And you have Cowboys, Rams, and Chiefs just run the table basically at the end. You
Right.
just have them demolish everything afterwards.
Okay.
I just see the Chiefs' name a lot on your list because they just
Alright.
stop running afterwards. Kyle, you've got the exact same list as he does.
No,
You have
I
the
don't.
Bears, Chargers, Texans, and Cowboys winning out
No.
in the first round. You have LA both winning against the Bears. You have the Saints winning, whereas he has the Cowboys winning. And then I'm trying to work this out because I did it in opposite order.
Chargers beating Chiefs.
Chargers beating the Chiefs, whereas NASA has the Chiefs winning out. Saints and the Rams, you have them winning alternatively. Pats and Texans.
Leads to Chargers Tech.
How
Chargers,
funny would it be, real
Chiefs,
quick? I'm
or
gonna,
Chargers.
how funny would it be?
Chargers.
Chargers and Rams in the Super Bowl. They both friggin' going to be
The
playing
Battle of LA.
Battle of LA. I'm gonna take a leak.
Where's the Super Bowl at this year?
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Even better.
There we go.
The only one really that Marty's gone for the Ravens is the only one that really stands out as the only different pick than
And the
everybody
Colts.
else's. No, because we
Oh, we
both
both had
Oh,
both
yeah, yeah.
Colts.
And the only
And
one that-
ultimately, the only one that can screw up the entire bracket is the Ravens if they win. Everyone else is a bit dumbed down because. But we all end up with the same ending with the Chiefs or the Chargers winning the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Also, if the Ravens win, anybody that has the Chargers is fucked.
Did Nestle
Yes.
go take a piss?
I think so.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
That's cool. So, that'll do it for NFL playoff talk, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
And now the exact opposite, the non-playoff contenders. We're gonna go over when we kind of thought of this idea, the New Year's resolution bit. We wanted to draw random teams, so we were forced to think for another team, and the resolution can mean pretty much whatever we want it to, whether it's to get better, to get back into the playoffs, whatever, I guess, positive thing that they need to do to improve is basically the premise, right? Because, like, for instance, I had the Raiders, and they're not making the playoffs next year, so that's not what I couldn't draw up a plan for that to happen, really. So, do y'all want to do this rotating, or do you want to each person just do their 5 teams and then move on, or split
I
it up?
think it would be better to do one person at a time.
Okay.
Because I think we'll focus on what we want to focus on a bit better.
Okay.
Oh,
Then
that's
if with y'all's permission, we have the list: Kyle, Josh, Nasta, Marty. Do you want to go in that order? And if you want to, we can go left to right that order
Yeah.
too.
Whatever you
All
want
right.
to do.
If that's the case, then Kyle will lead off with the Vikings. And while you're doing that, the listener doesn't need to know this, but I'm going to go pee all over the men's bathroom floor. So
Cool.
I'll be right back.
You should
All
I
right.
go into the gender neutral one?
Gender neutral one. I hate to run into you, Nasta.
So, okay, Vikings. So this is, along with the Jags, probably the most disappointing team coming in from this. And you could probably throw the Steelers in there too. But I can see a world where the Vikings make playoffs next year. Now, the first resolution that they need to make is probably trying to find a time machine, go back in time and not sign Kirk Cousins, and pick up and just re-sign Case Keenum.
Yeah.
And Teddy Bridgewater, but that's not going to happen. Really, it's figuring out what offense they want to run because they switched offensive coordinators mid-season. Get going on that and get Kirk Cousins right because you got receivers. You got a running back.
You got friggin'
Some of the best.
and
Yeah.
you got a very good tight end. You got 2 of the best wide receivers, and you got a solid friggin' tight end.
And you got a good running back
And you
too,
got a
in
running
Dalvin
back,
Cook.
yeah.
You got 2 good running backs.
Yeah, Cook and Latavius Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the pieces.
You got the
There's
pieces.
no reason why you should have been fumbling around like you did this year.
Maybe that's
You
why
got a good
Washington didn't sign
defense.
him.
Your O-line ain't even bad.
Yeah, you got a good defense. The defense was fine.
And you,
So your resolution is to get Kirk Cousins right because you put a lot of money in his ass,
80 fucking mil.
and
That's crazy.
yeah,
And you play in a stadium that may give you one of the best home field advantages in all of NFL.
and it's a fast track. And you got Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
You, You've got the pieces. Get Kirk Cousins right, and you'll be in the playoffs
Yes.
this year.
Cool.
Interesting. Thank you.
I think
Kyle.
that's fair. I think that's agreeable.
I agree
You
with
missed when
everything
I
you said.
you missed when I said that they needed to find a time machine, go back and not sign Kirk Cousins, just re-sign Case Keenum.
I thought you were gonna make a boat party joke.
Well, they should have gone back to the boat party too.
That probably
Yeah.
didn't start.
I figure if you get to the end
Hang out
of
with Dante
your
Culpepper and the
resolution,
strippers.
we can talk about it, and if there's not much to talk about, we just go to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, some of these are gonna be long. Some
I
of these are
think
gonna be
it's
short.
spot on with it, to be honest.
Josh, you have the Jags.
Lay it on me, man.
All right, Jags is a pretty easy one, really.
Move to
like they need to decide yesterday what they want to do. Build a team before the quarterback is drafted, or draft a quarterback and build around him. Their pick isn't good enough anymore. I've wrote this down almost verbatim, so I'm going to be speaking like that. Their pick isn't that good anymore after the record that they put up.
You got the seventh pick. They can trade up.
Right. So if they want a franchise quarterback, they're going to have to trade up.
But can they afford to not restock that team a little bit? Like they need help.
Yes. So personally, if I was GM, I'd make this offseason the entire time about fixing the offense around the quarterback position instead. Draft at least one decent receiver, one decent tight end, because they always take a little while to merge into the thing anyway. Look at Ebron, right?
Tight end.
It took him an entire year to get half decent.
Kid from Iowa.
Get another tight end in, get an offensive lineman, at least one early, and then start building that up too, because whoever's going to bring in, you need protection. If Foles gets beat by the Bears, the Jags need to pay him money and give him very clear 1 year to prove that he can be their franchise quarterback. And if he doesn't, they trade whatever it takes the following year to get a premier quarterback prospect. Whatever it takes. If Foles goes all the way, I say you get somebody along the lines of Tyrod Taylor and just have him manage a season.
I mean, Tyrod Taylor's not a bad option either.
That would be my New Year's resolution for the Jags.
Go ahead.
I've got.
Yeah, because
so
you are
there's a couple
a Jags
things.
fan, yeah.
We did just void Leonard Fournette's remaining guaranteed money.
Yes, that was bullshit. You
He's filing.
He's not even a top 5 running back in the NFL, really.
I think the Jags are going to try to trade him.
Oh, Fournette's going for like a second round pick, third round pick, undoubtedly.
I'll take that.
Bortles is going to be good.
Bortles is going to be gone. You got a second round pick. You probably, if you don't want to, you could. If you trade Fournette now, you got 2 second round picks. You could move that second round and trade first rounds to move up into the top 3 if you really want Haskins this year.
If he's coming out, has he decided? Because he's still 50-50.
Now, if he doesn't, or if you don't want to move up in front of the Giants, because that's the only team that's really going to be taking a quarterback in front of you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
If they are, that's still
They
up in the
will.
air. Then why not take an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman in the first round, like that kid from Clemson, Farrell, edge rusher to replace Calais Campbell when he goes. Take Will Grier in the second round, who I think is going to be very good.
Hell's yeah, I do too.
Pick up Ryan Fitzpatrick in the offseason.
I got. I think that's good. I like Greer. I think that'll be a good one. I will say this. How about this scenario? Trade Fournette to the Steelers for Brown. Sign
I don't know if they
Brown.
Ooh, sign Bell.
Sign Bell.
Oh,
that would be
my goodness.
Yeah, I don't think
What
the Jags
a-
have enough cap room to do
Yeah, I
that.
know. Wouldn't that be? Because they.
Antonio Brown's contract is fucking.
Oh yeah, you know
So
what?
I don't think any team has a
or
cap
just-
room to buy them both.
Or real quick, just trade Fournette, get a good draft pick maybe, and sign fucking Bell.
I would love that if they could find the money
Let
to
me
get
tell you.
Le'Veon Bell.
Jacksonville has some good climate fucking weather too, man.
Yeah, and
I mean, he
got
spent most of
pieces.
his day. He's spent most of his year.
And who?
playing.
And look at that division real quick. Jacksonville, beautiful weather. Texans indoors. Colts
Indoors.
and who's the other team?
Tennessee.
Tennessee, not bad weather, decent weather. So if you go to that division,
You're gonna be playing out.
pretty much a lot of your games are going to be in decent weather. Okay.
Go ahead,
so-
Nasto. Get the Steelers going.
Steelers got the 20th pick overall. First words I can say is screw them. Okay? I really don't like the Steelers, but I got picked this damn team. Even though Ben, the rapist
You're gonna thank my
burger,
wife for drawing the names right.
even though Ben, the rapist burger, did drop 5,000 yards this year in passing, if Ben decides to play that, I don't know if I'm going to retire, I think they should give Mason Rudolph a chance to compete for the starting, because Mason's a pretty solid quarterback.
Max, I want to kiss you right now.
I want him to be there. So, I don't want him to be there. I want him to get a chance.
Yeah, same.
I don't know exactly the details with Brown, but I heard he fucking left that team high and dry at the end of the season that screwed that last game. Trade him. I mean, I know he has a big contract, but I don't care if you trade him and get a third round fucking pick. You can't keep him.
He might have to eat some of that contract
He's
too.
too
You might. And also, I think they need to. I think their number one priority this year is to draft a running back. I mean, Connor's good. I mean, Connor's a good feel good story. Penn State, cancer.
They still ranked like 30th in rush offense, so they weren't good.
No, I know, but I think just it was a feel good story the first part of the season. I think you should try to draft a number one running back in the first round.
It's funny that it's not him that's the cancer in the clubhouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, God. There it is.
And but no, I think Mason Rudolph, because Mason Rudolph needs to be. He needs to compete to the starting. Fuck Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger, I'm surprised he isn't retiring yet. He's
Yeah.
37.
So,
That's what I got.
so I have the Giants as one of my teams, and I actually had it really, really short. It was just get a quarterback, right? Like I think that's at least it's gonna set you up for what you can do afterwards, right? You get
Many years to come.
Yeah, you get quarterback, you get Barkley, and if you keep Barkley, and if nothing else, hopefully it keeps him from using Barkley up before he's done. But I don't think they should go first round pick, because I don't think, if Haskins doesn't come out, and I'm still not sold on Haskins, I don't think there's any first round quarterback that's worth taking. I think if I'm them, I draft for depth everywhere, and then wherever Jordan Ta'amu from Ole Miss is, I draft him. Because I think he fits this new NFL look, running, whether you want to call it the spread or a hurry up or a a gunslinging style of football, Jordan Ta'amu is like secretly one of the best quarterbacks coming out. I think he's phenomenal, and he's just with a shitty Ole Miss team. Is really what ended up happening, and that's pretty much all I got for the Giants. It's like go quarterback, but don't go boom or bust on quarterback.
There's a few that
I don't think it's necessary.
That's fair. I have a few teams that I haven't got a huge amount for.
Yeah, they're the only ones that I have a real abbreviated version of it, and it's because it's painfully obvious. Like Eli's done way more than he ever should have done in his career.
Yeah, he's got 2 rings and
he's got 2 fucking rings. But if there's anybody you don't want in a downward spiral, it's someone that was always kind of in a downward spiral. like he's always been.
I mean, look at his face.
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear this Bengals one, man.
Well, they already did their New Year's resolution. They fired Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, they win the offseason.
That's been 10 years in the making, man. That should have happened so long ago. But on top of that, Marvin Lewis was supposed to be a defensive mastermind, and that defense was trash this year. Even when they were good, they had a reputation of being dirty. So, it's getting the right guy in there that's going to cultivate a good defense, because their offense isn't bad. They've got weapons.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon's a good running back.
Yeah,
he is. Tyler Boyd's a good young receiver. AJ Green's still got a couple years left in him. Tyler Eifert, if his leg is ever healed ever again, he's a good tight end.
I forgot what happened to him. God, I just remember what happened to him.
It might be a good idea. I have mixed emotions about Andy Dalton, because sometimes he looks great, sometimes he looks so pedestrian that you might want to get somebody else out there, or get somebody else in.
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing with Andy Dalton too is it's like there's worse choices to have. So until you find that person,
yeah,
you can do everything else and
it's
not
kind of
be.
how I feel about Cam Newton a little bit.
Yeah,
where
I'll cover that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you get a head coach in there, a defensive-minded head coach that's going to instill discipline in the defense, so they don't get that reputation again, and will grow a new defense, because that defense is trash now. It is awful.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of start from scratch there.
I think they kept on Marvin Lewis way too long.
Way too.
Like 10 years overdue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
I think when they collapsed against Pittsburgh in that playoff game,
when Carson Palmer blew his leg out, I feel like that should have been about the time Marvin Lewis hung it out.
When they were going 11-5, losing the first round of the playoffs. Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
alrighty.
Josh.
I'm not doing them next. I'm doing the Falcons next.
Okay.
Because I don't really have a lot of substance for a couple of these, whereas the Browns have quite a bit. So I'll do them towards the end, because I really like the Browns and what they've got going on.
Dude,
So the Falcons.
Browns are looking good, man.
The Falcons are weird because it's tough to them, and the Broncos are tough because they're currently like staffless. Like the Falcons have fired everyone they've got. So first of all, I think they need to find a team that can work in tandem, because I don't think they're going to get anybody strong enough to be like their own man. So by that I mean, like, I don't think they're going to be able to bring in a Vic Fangio who can run a defense all on his own without extra work. I think they're going to have to bring in a team and bring in a culture, because they don't need to worry about Ryan for a couple more years. I think they're fine. They definitely don't need to worry about their wide receivers, because they've got
Jones, Sanu, and Ridley.
Yeah, they don't need to worry about that. They've got a tight end, because he's like Austin
Hooper's
Hooper's a
fine,
decent tight end. Their running back situation is like neither here nor there. Like Coleman is okay. Devonta
They got to
Freeman's
make a decision
decent.
on Coleman, though.
They do.
Because Coleman, I think his contract's up.
Yeah.
Devonta Freeman was hurt all year, but he's been like in the Pro Bowl twice.
But Coleman didn't get much of a shot this season either, because they're fucking passing the ball
He had a really
so
good year.
much.
Yeah, so I think they don't. I don't think they chase up Coleman, because I think the money he'll ask for is too much for what they need, what they've got. So I don't think they bother with him. I think they draft a running back in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
One that's going to be able to do that job. Like Cohen and Howard went in the 4th and 5th rounds in their drafts.
Alvin
They
Kamara
can-
was a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah, they can get someone decent.
The Broncos guy, what's his face?
No, Phil Lindsay was an undrafted free
Yeah.
agent.
They're everywhere. Like, it's not like
You can find them.
it's a matter of the scheme, right? You just have to find a running back that's going to fit.
It's their
whatever
offensive
scheme.
line that needs help on that offense. That's really the only bit that, like, Ryan needs protection. And for me, like, I haven't seen a lot of the Falcons, but I've seen enough to know, even before they fired all their staff, that entire defense needs to be far more organized and actually establish an identity in the way they play. Because right now, every time I looked at them, they just look like a group of individuals as opposed to a team.
Yeah.
And then
Totally get what you mean.
Yeah, and I will say this though, because I watch way too much Falcons football.
right.
Thanks, Dina. They suffered so many injuries on their defense this year, like to their best defensive players.
Right.
First game of the season, their starting safety, who's an All-Pro player, Keanu Neal, out for the season. Other safety, Ricardo Allen, out for the season. Deion Jones, their middle linebacker, goes out in the first game. He's out for the first 10, 11 weeks of the season. They lost their starting defensive tackles they had to get put on IR. They lost another corner in that time. So that they were very
but
very disorganized.
having bad defense doesn't mean you can't win. See, first seed in the AFC this year. I think Sarkisian with that offense was so fucking awful because of all that talent. Even with like an average offensive line,
They need
there's
such
no-
minimal work on the offense.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, Matt Ryan put up better numbers this year than he did in his MVP.
and he had to because and like to
they were
stay in the
fighting
game.
for his life.
You know how many games they lost like in the last possession this year? Man.
That doesn't
Bad.
shock me to know it.
But yeah, it's I think it's
So yeah,
pretty
there wasn't a
spot
lot
on.
for me.
Nesta.
Dolphins, right? Yeah, Dolphins has the 13th pick overall. I think they need to go for a new quarterback. Tannehill's QB rating this year was 33.1%. The only good thing about Tannehill is his hot wife.
That is
No shit. You got Gorge, your running back, who was like 40 years old. And
yeah, it's weird that Gore's still.
and you got pretty boy Amendola that only had 575 receiving yards and I think 0 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I
but he
think.
also had for part of the season Brock Osweiler throwing too.
That's
Yes.
also true. Brock Osweiler was throwing a ball. That's
So
terrifying.
if I was the Dolphins, I think the defense is fine. I'll keep the defense intact. Get either keep Tannehill for one more year, or draft or pick up a free agent quarterback. But I don't think you should waste the first rounder on a quarterback. There's like the quarterback falls through the cracks.
This isn't a great quarterback class.
No.
No, it's not. Which is why I think, and oddly, I feel like there's.
What happened to Calvin Drake? I thought he was supposed to be a good running back.
Kenyon Drake? I mean,
What's his name?
Kenyon?
Kenny
He got
Drake.
hurt on and off too. He had like a
And they
sprained wrist.
have
or
this
something.
weird thing where they just want to give him the ball like 6 times a game.
Yeah.
And then
they give Gort 20 times a game.
And then they also have Ballage too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think there's oddly a really deep second quarterback market too, like your Tyrod Taylor's, your
Fitzpatrick's.
Bridgewater, if you still believe he can do it.
I think Bridgewater can actually.
I think he can too, and if nothing else, he's a Miami guy specifically, so he's going back home.
Go get Bortles. He'll be around.
Bortles will be around for sure.
And Bortles will be playing in that AFL. What are we doing?
Oh my God, what if he is?
Oh, he better.
If he ends with the Orlando Apollos, I'll be fucking sick.
Oh, no,
But-
you're going to follow me around. He's
yeah.
going to San Antonio.
Yeah, he's gonna be a commander.
But I think the Dolphins need to work on getting some more a wide receiver in there.
Yeah, Kenny Stills can't do it himself.
Yeah, I say build the offense up. Defense, I will be okay with the
Yeah, I
defense.
think so too. I think go depth defense. Go.
Let's do this. Who's next?
So I've got. So the Bills are
Convert Josh Allen to running back.
The Bills are one of my most boring answers, but here's the deal. So only half of the 90-man roster they had at the end of the season is still under contract. 45-ish people are under contract. So,
The rest joined the Bills Mafia.
and they have $86 million in cap space, which is like the third most in the league.
Yeah.
I think if the Bills were smart, which we know they tend not to be,
They'll sign Joe Flacco.
they would.
50 million.
They would. Yeah, that's what they'll do. It's a first serve as a backup to teach Josh Allen. I think they shouldn't spend any money on a big free agent, and I think that all they need to do, because Josh Allen was kind of surprisingly good right? I think get rid of Shady, McCoy, whatever you got to do. If he's not, I don't know if his contract when it's up, but fucking get rid of him because I think he's
retire.
I think he's retired, but he doesn't offer what Frank Gore offers, which is like a kind of a leader. I feel like, and Shady's not that. I think
Gore's a power back too.
I think they should do the boring route. I think they should go. You go offensive line, defensive line. You go linebacker. You go tight end. You do whatever you got to do to
They have
build.
no wide receivers.
They got no running back or receivers really. So like
No,
I
they've
think
got no offensive.
yeah. So I think that you go
Josh Allen.
you go
Yes.
boring and you get like whoever the top receiver that's in free agency, the fifth guy below him that you know is a producer and is like your possession guy, and you go and you build
Dante
it.
Moncrief will be out there.
Dante Moncrief.
Torrey Smith will be out there. I think the Panthers will be cutting Torrey Smith.
There's plenty of options. I think they just need
Devin
to go.
Funchess?
They need to go boring. Funches.
Go find Calvin. Go put Calvin Benjamin back
They
there.
just played that game with Funches with Kelvin Benjamin, though. Like of having an oversized guy that's kind of meh.
Go get Calvin Benjamin again.
Go just re-sign him.
Go sign Sammy Watkins.
We
Go do
changed-
that again.
God, it's gross.
Get
It's
the
just
band back together.
I think they just need to honestly like reset
You're a 3-man.
and build your most basic team until you have the next season where I think you go and you try to get a fucking big time receiver, or you draft just an absolute game changer like corner or whatever. Just fill out the roster and maintain so that you can keep that cap space and then capitalize when Josh Allen's got a better hang of things.
Cool. All right. Who's next?
Jets, kind of the
Jets.
same kind of deal right there as the Bills. It's great that they're in the same division.
Because at some point it's going to be easy for them because the Patriots are going to fall.
Yeah,
I said 2 years the Patriots fall.
yeah. When they fall,
Because Brady's gone.
somebody's going to have to take the mantle.
Yeah, someone's going to have to finish 9-7.
Yeah. So I mean, the same kind of deal. They need but they just fired their head coach. So bring somebody in. I think it's gross that them and the Cardinals are looking at Cliff Kingsbury to be a head coach.
You think it's gross?
I think it's weird. I think it's really weird that you would want to get a head coach that just got fired from that same position in college and took an offensive coordinator job, but now you want to make him a head coach in the NFL?
What did Nagy do to deserve the Chicago Bears job? Offensive coordinator. Right.
From where?
Like, it
From
wasn't-
where? What
but
kind?
like, so I think I understand what you're saying here.
He just
And-
got fired for being a head coach. Why are we going to hire him to a higher division?
Yeah, but that's like arguing why Houston fired Major Applewhite. It's because they have too high of expectations, but they also see how the NFL is going. So like,
I support
Nagy doing weird offensive shit is only as good this year as his defense will allow him to be when he's learning, because he's still learning to be a head coach in the NFL. I think Kingsbury is the same way. If you have a leash and you have McVay's a good example. If Kingsbury isn't the hire that I'd be worried about, it's the defense and who's going to run that defense that I'd be worried about. If they have someone in mind, and this sounds really yucky because I hated it, but like the way they hired Garrett and Wade Phillips at the same time for the Cowboys so many years ago, you can have both. And if you have Kingsbury as your offensive dude and find someone to completely manage the defensive side and the GM's in the same thing, I don't think it's that crazy. I'd rather see Kingsbury get it than like a U fucking Jackson get it, or someone who's been
that'd be
or an NFL guy that's just like whatever that is anything else.
Adam Gase goes up there.
Fucking Adam Wright, yeah, just trading a bunch of NFL or like what's his face, Bruce Arians would be a good hire, I think up there.
I don't think he'd want to come back out of the.
I don't think so either. But there's not many NFL coaches that have been or have that fucking like hiring Marty Morningway or some shit. That'd be
Maybe they
awful.
go after Mike McCarthy.
That'd be worse. Mike McCarthy's arguably a worse coach at the pro level, considering what talent he had to work with. Why not try Kingsbury? You're already kind of buried. Just try something new. The Jets have been relevant since
Vinny
his
Testaverde.
butt fumble, and then Chad Pennington for a hot second, and then like Vinny
Vinny
Testaverde.
Testaverde. Yeah, you know what?
And who better to develop your young quarterback? Even if nothing else,
Kingsbury.
If nothing else, if Kingsbury's a bust and goes 2 years and gets
He
fired,
did work with Manziel.
he's
He did
worked
work
with every quarterback.
Mahomes.
With Mahomes,
Mayfield.
Manziel, the same system that got Goff. Like he's Case Keenum. Like he's a fucking quarterback wizard.
I think he'd be a better OC in the NFL than he would be a head coach.
I agree. That's the ideal situation.
Yeah.
But the thing
I think it's just kind of trying to shoehorn him in, trying to make him a head coach. But it's
I don't think he's interested though either.
he just signed with USC. It doesn't make much sense. But yeah, there's not. They got to go the boring route. They got to build up their line. They got to build up their defensive line. I don't mind their secondary. I think Jamal Adams is a good player.
Yeah.
I don't like their receivers. Like Robbie Anderson's fine, but I think he's a good number 2.
Yeah.
They got nothing else. They got nothing else on offense.
No, they
Their running back situation is a mess.
Maguire's bang average. Crowell's bang average. Who's the other lad there? But Cannon, he's bang average.
Yeah.
They're all so beige, man.
Yeah.
So
That's why I think
The Jets make me want to puke half the time.
that's what I think they're trying something
even their kit.
something weird like Kingsbury because they need to breathe the life. There hadn't been life since Rex Ryan. That was just and the coach had a bigger persona than because he was into feet.
Yeah.
Foot fetish guy.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got on the Jets.
All right, Josh.
Let's do Packers next, because this is fun.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't going to take long either.
Fire, burn it all to the ground.
Yes.
Relocate to Nova Scotia.
Relocate to nowhere and fumble as a team. Just fold, in fact.
Good. I can't say.
No.
I can't say Aaron Rodgers.
Retire.
So,
What if they
He's
end up
one of
being
the most
one?
overrated quarterbacks known to mankind.
First things first, and this goes on this in the case of any club, team, whatever you are, football team, NFL team. No player is bigger than the club. And that needs to be imperative from the minute this new head coach comes in and deals with Aaron Rodgers. And honest to God, if Aaron Rodgers is running the team, then you may as well just ship him off. And I know they would never do it, but at this point, they are in such a situation where they need
Bad
to
shape.
sort themselves out. They need to make a choice. Aaron Rodgers either needs to get in line or get gone. There's no two ways about it with whoever they hire next. Now, he was under McCarthy for a long time, 12 years? So we don't know how he's going to react at this stage in his career with a new head coach. You just don't know, do you? You may come in and he may be he may be a toxic thing in the camp, or he may be great and the perfect quarterback.
Welcome you with open arms, or
Yeah.
he might laugh in your face.
But the other thing that I've also found is their defense is decent. It always was. Haha Clinton Dix, I really liked him over much. I hate that entire team.
But he's not there anymore.
No, I know, exactly.
Yeah.
So they got rid of him. So they need to get a couple of younger lads in there. And, because Clay Matthews and that ain't going to be around forever. And the
He's
biggest
too worried
thing...
about his freaking Head and Shoulders commercials.
biggest thing for me that I've noticed is they need to do something. They need to, this off-season, they need to run some kind of project into their injury and fitness fitness stuff. I don't know whether it's the turf that they train on compared to the turf they play on. I don't know whether it's their regime, whether it's under McCarthy, their regime, but something is not right in the way their weeks go.
Yeah.
Because they get injured, their injury list is just, it's like the Falcons on steroids. They are injured everywhere. Look at their receiver core this year, and their running backs. Everybody was hurt all the time. And it's not their first year it happened, because they had the same problem last year. Something somewhere is very, very broken in their training, in my opinion, because I've seen it happen amongst other sports, and people come in, identify it, change it, and all of a sudden they're not injured anymore.
Yes.
It's not a coincidence.
And it happens at the college level a ton too.
It's a steady diet of bratwurst and cheese.
Yeah.
Well,
That's all I've got.
I wonder how much that comes because, if you buy into that weather bit, right? If you're used to playing in not muggy, when you go and you have to go play
Miami. With the humidity.
or if you go play the 49ers are probably a bad example because it's actually a nice climate.
The Bears were hammered with injuries the last 2 years, and everybody said it was due to the way Fox trained. And half the camp said it was the way Fox ran his show, and that was the reason people were getting hurt.
Even coming here to Carolina to play, it's probably going to be humid if it's earlier in the season.
Yeah. The other half said it was because of the turf that they trained on, and that it wasn't the same as Soldier Field. Fox leaves, the turf stays the same. We've had one of the best years for staying fit all year.
Right.
Clearly it was a Fox problem. So, we'll see in the off-season whether it's a McCarthy problem or not. But if they go into next year with the same issues, something in the way in which they're training is broken. And that's why they're breaking all everywhere.
Nasty.
That's it.
Bucks, number 5 overall in the draft pick. I think they're fine with running back. I think Barber was good.
Sure.
They have a true number 1 wide receiver, Evans, and they have 2, what do you call it, supporting cast wide receivers. You got Godwin and you got Humphreys. I think they're really good. Be honest,
They have tight ends really good too. Right?
yeah, they have a good
O.J. Howard and Cameron Brady.
they got so
Right.
offensive side of the ball. I think they're really good. Get rid of Fitzpatrick. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Mr. Crableg Winston,
Hungry for W's, man.
but I think that just maybe created some kind of like a friction. Get rid of Fitzpatrick, give the helm to Winston, and find a new head coach that is a D-driven head coach. Because I did some math. Out of the 16 games, they averaged on offense on 24 points per game.
This is fucking crazy.
Which is not too bad. I mean, remember a couple of those games. I think they only put up 3 points on one, so I mean that drove the number down.
Early in the season, though, they put up a ton.
Yeah.
That's all they have.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. I think you need to get a defensive-minded head coach in there.
They got some good defensive players.
Yeah, and build
Levante
and build.
David
Yeah.
And Alexander.
I think the offense is fine. I think what's
Yeah,
real
yeah.
quick, Jackson.
I think
Jackson's gonna retire anyway, or
He's
they
mad
get
he
cut.
goes out.
But
Yeah,
you can
they're
also
gonna give it because you don't need Jackson while you have Godwin, who's not bad,
And
Humphreys is not. He's a good
possession receiver.
He's a good receiver. So
Yeah, he's good.
that's what I got.
Yeah,
So
I think the best thing is, like you said, keep Jameis, let him do his thing.
let's see.
And
Give Jameis one more year.
Build the team so that you can
number
plug
5.
in a quarterback. Not unlike what the Jags should have done going into this year. Like,
And having the number 5 overall pick, you have to think to play the teams before them.
Get an edge rusher, man.
You
There's
can
a ton of them.
Yeah, you get a
if they get fucking Josh Allen out of Kentucky, it's going to be game over. There's another Josh Allen coming into the league, which is just fucking wonderful.
So that's it
I
for
want
me.
some Allen on Allen.
Especially because they can sack each other, or like one can sack the other,
I want some Allen on Allen.
depending on the matchup.
Try to wrap this up. I got
All right,
15 minutes and I
yeah.
got to bounce.
You got
no, I don't mean to rush.
All right, no, I can rush. It's cool. I'm gonna do Panthers real quick. All right, so North Turner was incredible with the Panthers, which is great. I think they need to fix the receiving core. They need to find someone to spell McCaffrey because he's gonna get driven out of the league in 2 years.
Yeah.
He's
Cameron
getting
Payne is not a bad running back.
he's
No,
getting
he's
just
not.
worn out. How many touches did he get though?
Not enough.
Because McCaffrey's out there all the time.
Yeah.
So it's either
No,
make
it's-
McCaffrey you're like
McCaffrey's gonna be gone in 5 years.
You're jack of all
Injured wise,
trades,
will
right.
beat up.
so I feel like give Norv more work, give Norv more tools to work with because you can't get rid of Cam, unfortunately.
No.
He may not be great, he's not bad. He's at least that he can win a Super Bowl with the right team around him.
Find me a better quarterback that's available and put
Yeah.
him
Their defense was awful. Their defense allowed 6 yards per play, which is 7th worst in the league, and they were sixth worst in the amount of times they gave up of any red zone drive by the other team. 70% of them ended up in touchdowns, which is just
Need to
insane.
fix that secondary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got a lot of work to do on defense.
On the defensive
and
side of the
that's all I got. Josh, go.
It's not me.
Oh, right.
Kyle,
oh.
go.
I'm going to go Cardinals because they're also in that boring area
Yeah.
because they got a quarterback that they can build around. They need to go get a new receiver because Larry Fitzgerald is about to die.
Yeah, he's retiring.
They've got some nice pieces on defense between
Yeah.
Chandler Jones and
What's that?
Patrick Peterson.
Patrick Peterson.
You know, they got some players. I I don't like the fact that they fired their coach after 1 year.
That's
I think that's
bullshit.
ridiculous.
That's insane.
That was stupid. That wasn't all his fault.
Yeah. You've got
You got a good running back too.
You got David Johnson. Yeah, you're fine right there. I think you go boring route. You get linemen. You get defensive linemen. You're not making the playoffs next year, but you can start to build towards
You
the
start
future.
building.
Yeah, something to prop up Rosen.
Yeah.
The Broncos. All right, this is pretty simple, really, because there's not a lot to go for. Their O-line was ranked 24th this year, so let's work on that. Let's protect Keenum for a start if they're going to keep him and carry on, which I think they should. We don't know who the head coach is. I think it needs to be an offensive-minded one because that's where they need more work. I know they're interviewing Fangio, and I don't know who else they're interviewing. Fangio wouldn't be a good fit for the entire offense because he's not an offensive.
Plus, the
coordinator.
defense is a different scheme completely.
So even more so. I didn't even know that. But they need to iron out who the head coach is before anything we can go too deep into it. But on the super high level, I looked at their list of incoming free agents for the end of the year, and I'm not, I could almost name the starting 11 of every Premier League team. So I know my shit. I'm not at that level of the NFL, but I'm certainly not unclued up on it.
Yeah,
And I didn't
you know.
recognize a single free agent name. Like, didn't recognize a single one. So they can afford to lose these people.
Right.
They have the chance to be the most fun rebuild in the NFL on Madden if they do it right. Like, you could buy Madden next year and have a really fun time rebuilding
Yeah,
the
especially with that
Broncos.
receiving core as it is, and it's only going to get better.
Because they are quite literally from scratch right now. You
So great.
have a super young receiver in Sutton. You have a super young running back in Lindsey. Like you have a solid quarterback in Keenum that you can spend a couple of years behind.
Who has more playoff wins than friggin' Cousins?
It's just there's a lot of room for fun shit to do if they make the right head coach decision. If they bring someone in like Fangio, however much I love him as
Not
a
gonna be a good
person,
fit.
he isn't a good fit. And if they're
Adam Gase
interviewed,
might be a good fit there.
Weirdly, yeah.
Gase might be a good fit because he was a good fit for us on offensive coordinator. Like you just we'll see. But that's me for the Broncos done.
Lions.
Lions. Be honest, I think they need to revamp the whole offense. They need a running back.
I don't think they have a choice. Like, they've
Yeah.
gotten rid of
I like
everybody.
Kerryon Johnson.
Kerryon Johnson's good.
Kerryon Johnson's
He's
a-
got to get healthy.
Yeah, I mean, true, but okay, so let's scratch that. I mean, I only saw his yardage. He only had a couple, 700 yards.
He was
But he was hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the wide receiver. Was it Galladay?
Yeah.
He's pretty good. I'll be honest. I'll give Stafford one more fucking year. The guy had another quarterback rating this year of a 50.9. If you are a $100 million quarterback, you should be making everybody around you better, and he is
And
not.
NASA just did the clap emoji. If you are a 100
It's not wrong though.
I mean,
No, he's right.
I mean,
It's always been Matt Stafford's thing though. Like as soon as Calvin Johnson left, it was clear that like he had the arm, he had the talent. I don't think he can lead himself on
no.
the paperback.
I'll say next year. If not, I'll trade his ass. I'll cut
He
him.
beat our ass in high school football. Matt
So-
Stafford.
People that trade for him.
Something.
People will trade for Stafford. But I said if I had to build the lines, I say what offense? I think offense would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
They have some good defensive players already.
Yeah, but Stafford is a big issue. If you're that good, you should not be this bad.
All right, I'm going to do the Niners because I want to save the Raiders for last. The 49ers are kind of in a weird spot because they have a really, really, really young team. And I think that Kyle Shanahan is actually a good coach. Like, I think he's
Jimmy
got
G
time
getting
to
hurt at
get-
the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
really didn't help.
that's what I mean. And I think that their goal needs to be to improve as best they can on the defense. I think you keep Richard Sherman and have him train up every single young corner that you can get, so that on how to cheat, on how to play the right way, or the right way without getting the wrong way without getting caught.
Right.
Because when you're in division with the
crafty.
Seahawks and Rams, and mostly the Rams, you're gonna have to stop them. So I think that you go almost all defense, minus a few free agent signings in offense, and you go late rounds, secondary linebacker, and I think you put whatever you can in that defensive line to improve it, even though it's already really good, and get a pass rusher that is going to kill Russell Wilson, that is going to kill Josh Rosen, and that's going to kill Jared Goff. it's the only chance you've got in the long term in competing. Unless Garoppolo is what some people think he is, and I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be like coming out like fucking. I think he's
going to be somewhere between Brady and Castle.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Like I think he's probably closer to Dak, which is going to be someone that like is going to be good and that might have a game where he carries the team, but shouldn't be the guy carrying the team regularly.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Redskins. Okay, so Redskins. If you're going to look at just what they need to do on the field, they need to find a quarterback that doesn't have a broken leg, because that seems to be a problem up there.
It's a turf.
That's something.
Yeah.
But what they really need to do is they need to fix what's going on outside of their football team right now. They have too much going on. There was the signing of Reuben Foster, where after he got accused of Domvi. Yeah. So they said that when they brought him in, that they were like, they've got 6 players from Alabama there that they know him and they vouched for him, said he's a good guy. Well, then he's no longer on the team, and people are saying now nobody came to us and said, like a couple of the players said, nobody came to us and asked us about it, and we would have told him the exact opposite thing, that he's not a good dude and he's not a good person to have on the team. And then the whole issue with their cheerleaders. Have you heard this?
No.
So their cheerleading squad there's been like lawsuits going on because there's been reports that they were asked to go and hang out with season ticket holders and show up to places as dates. They
auction them off. I bet they do that.
Well, it's not so much auctioning off. They're just like, hey, we'll pay you $10,000 if you go and hang out, or we'll pay you a certain amount of money to go to this party with these people, kind of like, the cheerleaders are going to be there, but
sounds like DC to me, bro.
They felt like they were forced to almost be like their dates. Yeah. They were also going out on like
for $10,000, they better be.
Well, I don't think it was $10,000, but I was just spitting out a number. but they're also being told to go and party on boats with season ticket holders.
Oh shit!
People
Minnesota all over again.
Yeah. They had a topless. It was a topless calendar, and they invited season ticket holders to the event while they were taking the topless photos.
I read that one.
There's been a lot of sketchy stuff.
Are they nudie? A nudie calendar?
I think it's like topless calendar.
Fuck off! Is that
legal? I don't know how it.
I mean, they'd have to volunteer. It's fucking. Playboy didn't just like take pictures of people.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they thought it was part of their job description.
Almighty.
So there's a lot going on up there, and now you've got their safety, DJ Swearinger, who.
Nasta, why are you buying the Washington Redskins calendar right now?
Hey,
I'm getting it half off.
He ends up coming out and criticizing the Redskins, the Redskins defensive coordinator, and he gets his ass fired.
Yeah, because he spoke the truth.
Yeah, they've got a lot of other issues going on within their. That's their number one.
So sort that house.
Sort the house. Yes. Yes.
Is that it?
That's it, man.
Josh, you got Browns, right?
Yeah. I'll try and be quick, but there's more substance here because they're fun as shit.
So I love the Browns.
From what I've watched over the years, success in the NFL. Good quarterback. Doesn't need to be an MVP winning quarterback, just a savvy quarterback. A top tier pass rusher.
He's looking. Nancy thought I was going to get nudie pics.
A top tier pass rusher. A top tier cornerback or safety, whichever one you want. Just someone who can ball hawk, Richard Sherman, that kind of level of stuff that takes you to the Super Bowl, and good leadership. The Browns are probably, in my opinion, one good head coaching appointment away from being one of the best teams in the NFL.
Fuck yeah.
Myles Garrett, if you get another capable rusher or anyone, could lead the league in sacks next year.
Dude, their tight ends are good. Their running backs.
He could be sat there.
Landry as a wide receiver.
Yeah, you could be sat there with like Garrett, Mack, and like Donald, the top 3 quite comfortable sack leaders next year if they continue to grow. Denzel Ward has shown flashes of being a very capable lock.
He had a little injuries, but you're right.
Very capable.
Right. I'm still on the Jabril Peppers.
Peppers too, man.
Baker Mayfield.
Dude, Mayfield, baby.
Like, he's never going to be as big because it's not the right sport, but he really It's so bold to say it.
I think
but he's not far away from being the Browns' LeBron. If he can, if
He just needs to win one playoff game.
for the
He's
next
in
10
Cleveland.
years,
So he's going to play for the
if he
Dolphins.
can be the next, like, if he can be
Take us down to South
consistent
Beach?
for the next kind of 10 years, like, I'm telling you.
Yo,
And I looked at, they've got 47 players signed up next year. That means they've got like 6-ish players left for the active 52, right?
they
need to be
dude, half
filled.
the team is on rookie contracts because that's how
Half
big
the
it
team
sucks.
are. Do you know how much caps? They've got 88 million to spend.
Second most.
They're like a left tackle, wide receiver, maybe 2 wide receivers away from being a very high level team.
I think Joe Thomas wishes he didn't retire.
Adam Humphries is a free
I'm
agent
sure
next
he'd be
year.
done with
Hey,
Baker
and
shit,
real
'cause
quick,
he's
what
so
Josh
shit.
is saying, Pittsburgh is on the fucking decline. The Bengals have done for a while. The Ravens.
It should be the Ravens and
Browns and
It's going to
Ravens.
be really the Browns, unless Lamar Jackson gets hurt or he's just a one
The Browns and
We got the
Browns.
Flash Show.
a fluke.
You have some very attainable free agent wide receivers in John Brown, Adam Humphries.
Yeah.
Like, you get one of them
Guys.
and draft a wide receiver high. Like,
Also, you got 3 receivers that are pretty good.
Yeah.
Because you got Jarvis Landry already.
And what's
like,
his name?
and they all play different roles. Like, you're one
Shit,
one
what's-
half
what's his
decent
name?
draft away
Yeah.
from them being legitimate top
The really
5
fast wide
team if
receiver
want
that
to
they
be.
got late in the rounds. His stock dropped because of college. He fucked up.
Yeah, Callaway.
Callaway.
Callaway,
Dude,
yeah.
He's a burner.
he's a burner. So
That's
yes,
what I mean. You
I'm
have
with
someone like Humphries who can make those plays that are right there in between.
If
Callaway and
Mayfield
Landry.
wins one home playoff game, he's the next LeBron.
That's
Can have a
my
po-
thing. I'm super
A
excited. And
poster with him going like this, saying we're all witness.
you get like 1 or 2 more people in there, and you make them that top 10 NFL roster, just like the Bears have. Like, that change in mentality comes real quick, and then you suddenly see like a team that went from being bang average to like a juggernaut overnight.
Yeah.
Like, and the Browns are on target
Yeah.
to be.
It'd be kind
Yeah.
of fun to see that.
God, it would be fun.
It'd be good. I mean, I feel for Cleveland. Like, you know, I part of me wants him to get decent. It just is a shame that Baker has to be the guy that does it. And he's probably going to be a lot better than I ever expected. And
Just fucking watch out, man.
Fucking
Cleveland
this
is
is
coming.
an
They're going to
immature
be so
cunt.
good.
Yeah.
He's such a cunt, man.
I love Baker,
If y'all are
baby.
sick of Aaron Rodgers shit, you give Baker 5 fucking years and just see. He's such a fucking baby.
Alright, let me go because I have to
Go.
Alright, Titans. I'll be honest, there's not too much to say what they need to change because they're fucking a good damn team. Defense, running back. I will say this: if Mariota can stay fucking healthy, they will win games.
They got to make a decision on him.
And this is
I think so.
and
Not for the
this year coming up is his last year of his contract. I will bring in a quarterback. Not first round, of course, because they're picking 19th. But I will bring in a quarterback, even if it's a free agent, to compete with him because
Gardner Minshew.
word on the street.
They like injury prone quarterbacks.
Yeah,
word
Eric
on the street.
Dungy.
Well, word on the street that he was healthy enough to play against the fucking Colts, and I heard he didn't.
really?
I don't know how true that is because I think we would have heard it by now on ESPN or somewhere.
They need to find an offensive identity first because
Yeah.
they're
They
not
don't have
using him. They don't have one. And like their offensive coordinator is supposed to be like a hot shot. So if he has another season, then it might be
If
different.
Mariota,
maybe they don't have the
If
personnel.
Mariota can stay healthy, they'll be in the playoffs next year.
Last but not least, the Raiders. So I'm going to just kind of read off what I have because it's only a short paragraph, but I think it's the hardest route to go. They're an extremely old team. They've got a ton of guys that they need to let go in free agency because they have a lot of contracts that are due as well, and I think they're better off cleaning house.
They've already started to.
They already, yeah. I mean, it's just
They've just
there's
shipped
not
off
many
their
people that should re-sign anybody.
Best players.
They've shipped off their 2 best players.
Well, and they were young, and like
Yeah.
everybody else is left over, you know. I think Gruden is going to try to build an early 2000s offense, which oddly enough I hate, but might be the thing, and it's really going to depend on how him and Mayock run the team and how they build it. But they have the ideal Madden team, what everybody does, and that's trade every fucking body away and
Get
have
all the
draft.
picks.
All of the picks.
So you can literally come out of this draft with a couple young free agents and 3 people on each side of the ball to be your anchors at whatever position that is, whether it's offensive line, defensive line, corners, quarterback, whatever. I think that they should use all of those picks to improve at every position except for quarterback, and wait for 2020.
Don't touch Carr.
Because 2020
Tank for
the
Tua?
quarter because 20 Tuna Altoona, the Alabama quarterback.
Or
2020
Kelly Lawrence.
2020
Clemson.
there's
Lawrence,
5
that's-
quarterbacks that will
that's
be potentially generational quarterbacks, and they'll have the pick because they're going to be bad.
Should I tell you why as well? Even if they're not bad, they don't want to do a quarterback this year on the risk that the Bears pull a Jags and then they end up getting a high pick next year from the Bears due to Mac.
Yeah, I mean I think
Because they're not this year, but next year.
yeah, there's a potential that they have
if
another.
we
They have
really
2 top 10
And,
first round
and
picks.
I heard
The Bears
someone
fall.
said that they should John Gruden should be executive of the year this year because his
All six?
no, because he just made the Bears.
What is the Bears game? Oh god.
But that's it.
But what's going to happen is the Raiders. None of that's going to happen. Gruden's going to talk Rich Gannon out of retirement.
Yeah, he's going to bring Rich Gannon back, and Rich Gannon will still throw for 3,000 yards and have a broken
50.
vertebrae at 50 years old. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for issue 8. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Nasta, Kyle, Josh, for coming by.
Awesome. Love
We will see you in 2 weeks, a little under. I think we're set to record on the 16th. We might talk a little bit of Royal Rumble then. Might do a little bit of the
it. See how we did in the playoffs.
Alliance of American Football because the season's going to be coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good, like,
Um,
3 weeks ago?
Yeah, it'll be real
We'll
close.
see how bad we're doing in football picks.
We'll see how poorly our picks
Yeah.
went.
Even though we all picked the same
Yeah, we'll be
people.
at the championship.
Well, either I'll be
games by then.
disinterested or very invested because of it.
Oh man, I could be a mess by then.
All right, guys.
Oh, yeah.
If we
Yup.
just
Dog in
turn,
the hunt.
if we're coming back on the back of a win in LA.
Oh God, Josh will be unbearable.
Later, guys. Hey, I'll see you. everybody.
Unbearable. Bye, y'all.
Later.
Later.